It's funny how Ofelia was being referred to as the local lady. Yeah, that's right. For the first 7 to maybe 14 days, Ofelia was being referred to as the local lady. Ophelia's statement was a conflict of interest because she wasn't a local lady, was she? She is the owner of the Airbnb, and she is the only witness to have seen Jay walk up that road, and then the second time, 15 minutes later, when she's driving home, she sees Jay again walking in that same direction. Duncan Smith's done a fantastic job in highlighting the fact that Ofelia could never have known if that was Jay Slater. She might have seen someone walking up that road, but she can never have confirmed if it was Jay Slater because she never knew who Jay Slater was. But one of the reasons why you can't take Ophelia's word as gospel, because in her statement, she confirmed that she knew Jay was going the wrong way. How would she know that? But not only did she confirm Jay's going the wrong way, she's the owner of the Airbnb. So it's a conflict of interest. If something happened at the Airbnb and she knows something happened at the Airbnb, it could be in her best interest to work with those people to stop her family from being threatened, to stop herself from actually being killed, that we don't actually know. And therefore, on that basis, Ophelia's statement can't be taken as fact. Based on the position that she finds herself in, she could have been intimidated. She could have easily lied. Even Isla Chakir in the mainstream media, they were sitting there 7, 8, 9, 10 days after Jay had been missing, still referring to Ofelia as the local lady. Oh, Jay just saw some local lady, he asked her for the bus times, and then 15 minutes later, the same local lady saw Jay walking up the road. But it wasn't a local lady, was it? She was the Airbnb owner. And that's where the media have lied and spread fiction as if it was fact. But then they're calling that the online sleuths that are spreading conspiracy theories. And they're selling us fiction as if it's fact because the local lady isn't just a local lady, is she? Guess what? There are no other statements. There are no other witnesses that claim to have seen Jay, only Ofelia. It would have taken Jay around 25 to 27 minutes just to get to the point of entrance where he walks off-road and goes onto the path. He hasn't even reached the main part of the ravine yet. That you're telling me no one would have saw him walking up that spot.
Let's turn to, and actually, yes, turning to Ofelia and Ophelia's word, but once again, I'm going to go through why this is so important. I'm not revealing anything new. I'm just highlighting why anyone on this planet who takes Ophelia's word as credible, as trustworthy, let alone as fact, is totally crazy. It makes no sense. And yet we do have two people, Chris, Luggy, that have said, I believe, they haven't corrected me, but I believe way back when Chris did try to explain what the facts were that he was following in the search for Jay Slater, I believe Chris said, well, one of the facts was what Ofelia said. Okay, I think the rest of the planet's eyebrows, and their eyes went black. Ophelia's word is the fact you were basing your search on? You cannot be serious. Well, that is why I'm examining Ophelia's word, so it's all very obvious to us why Ofelia would be the last person you would trust to give you any factual information. Now, I mentioned a video 2 days ago, I mentioned that Ofelia did not know Jay Slater. Therefore, anyone that says Ofelia saw Jay walking up the hill is wrong, factually wrong. If they say that, they could be lying. They could be saying it just because they're ignorant. I don't know. But what is clear to me, and I think everyone has agreed with me on this, good point. If Ofelia didn't know who Jay Slater was, it is impossible for anyone to say that Ofelia saw Jay Slater going up that hill. To me, that is basic logic. Point I made yesterday was, why would you accept the word of anyone in a missing person's recorded interview insists on their face not being shown? To me, in any interview, if someone says, just show the back of my head, my first question is, why? What are you hiding? Missing persons case, I mean, some poor person is out there wandering around trying to survive in the wilderness, and your priority is not to show your face on camera? Again, questions. Why? What is going on here? I wouldn't trust that person's word, period. Chris and Lucky, oh no, there's no doubt in their mind. The word of Ofelia is golden. The word of Ofelia is fact. The word of Ofelia leads us to search in this area because Ofelia said, da, 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 da. It is nonsense, in my opinion. Timmy reminding me, in my opinion, that is what I think. It seems to me, allegedly, anyone that goes by Ophelia's word is not thinking beyond a very low level. There are two more points that have to be made about Ophelia's word, which will, I think, wrap this up and show you that no one should treat Ophelia's word as anything but nonsense. The third point is a point that everyone's made, so I won't spend much time on it. The fourth point I am going to spend a bit of time on because I don't think many people have thought about it. So the third point is the obvious one. Ofelia refused to talk to the family of Jay. She had an opportunity. Remember, as Zach and Warren said, they went to Ophelia's cafe. Ofelia saw them getting out of the car. She pulled the chairs in and the shutters down. She made it quite clear that she had no intention of talking to them. Now, You can say she doesn't speak English. Now, that doesn't matter. It's all about intention here, not your ability to communicate. I don't speak Japanese, but if I were the owner of an Airbnb and some poor Japanese tourist had left my Airbnb and disappeared, even though I don't speak Japanese, if that Japanese family came to talk to me, I would find a way to at least express in some basic terms my concern and tell them anything I could. I would find a way. I would find a way to find a way, if you know what I mean. I would find someone that does have some kind of translator. I would do what I could to help that family. We all know this, apart from Chris and Lucky. The very fact that Ofelia refused to help a family in despair, I think was a form of torture, to use Chris's word. Now, Chris is very fond of saying online sleuths, people like me, have tortured Debbie's family for months. Okay, Chris, let's hear you assess the torture level of Ofelia refusing to even say a single word to the family in distress. Would that be a certain torture level in your book? Or are you still sticking with Ophelia's word is golden? She's to be trusted. She's not any torture here whatsoever. It's an upside-down world when you live in Luggyville or Chrisville. In my opinion, that's how it seems to me, allegedly. So let's move on to that point. Obviously, Ophelia's word is doubtful when she can't even be prepared to say a single word, a heartfelt word, to the family of the missing person. Here's the fourth point, and this is key. This is key. How trustworthy is the word of a person who agrees to work for the humiliated, dismissed, and disgraced mayor of El Tanque? How could you trust that person? Because if you're prepared to work for such a boss, knowing, as everyone does in El Tanque, as everyone does in Buenavista del Norte, as everyone does in Masca, as everyone does in Santiago, probably on the whole island, everyone knows Roman, and everyone knows why he was booted out as mayor. So we cannot claim that Ofelia is ignorant of who Roman is. She knows very well the disgrace with which he was kicked out of office. She knows that. She knows all about the hearing, the tribunal. She knows all about the evidence that was presented, and she knows the shame that went with it. She knows that. Keep in mind, when I contacted Roman's brother, Gabriel, Gabriel replied to me very graciously, and I remember word for word what he said. It was desde hace mucho tiempo que no hablo con mi hermano. So I haven't spoken to my brother for a long time. So even Roman's brother, Gabriel, if we take Gabriel's word for what it is, and I do, because he seemed like an open guy, his profile, if you look at it, seems like a stand-up person, superficially. If we take Gabriel's word, then even Roman's brother wants nothing to do with Roman, even his brother. And yet Ofelia, she's like, oh, yeah, no problem working with Roman. Yeah, let's just go through why Roman was dismissed from his position as mayor. This is during COVID times. And if you're asking why there was no legal case, no court, I think during COVID, that whole court process was delayed. And I believe, this is my belief, word on the island was because the other mayors are so in with Roman, any kind of court trial is going to be problematical. In the end, what did the authorities in El Tanque decide? They decided, how can we get rid of Roman? And the answer was just dismiss him. Just ban him from public office. If we go down the route of having some whole court trial, it's going to get so convoluted. I'm not sure we want that. So I believe there was no actual court trial for Roman just because it was expedient for the authorities to say, let's just get rid of him. Let's get done with him. And that's what happened. But what was the case? Remember, this is the person Ofelia has decided is a really good person to work with. Yeah, Ofelia is fully on board with being under the command of Roman. Roman, the person who opened up a daycare center for old folks without basically any planning permission, without any building code adhered to, and he initially said he wasn't aware of that. When the documentation was produced that he was aware of it, then his whole argument was, well, yeah, okay, I was aware of it, but I had to go ahead and open it anyway for the good of the people. This is the slippery eel, the snake in the grass, the allegedly, in my opinion, from what I've read, lying hound that Roman is.
And everyone's calling me a dealer. I was 19. You know what I'm saying? I'm 30 now. I'm not a trapper, yo.
There was a local lady who said that she'd seen and spoken to Jay and that she'd told him there was a bus coming at 10 a.m. Have you spoken to her at all? Or?
She didn't speak a word of English.
Right.
She was very cold towards all of them.
So do you think her information might be wrong?
I didn't see her face to face, but to put her hand up like that in the face of Zach and his dad, there's no, nothing there, is there?
Did you try to speak to her? Was that when she did that?
Yeah. And then there was another time we went up and the cafe was open. We pulled up. She seen us get out. She dragged all the chairs in and shut the shutter.
Right.